This is Earth Movers
with Allison Mariella Desir, Stefanie Flippin, and Verna NezBegay Volker.
A trail podcast reclaiming the narrative.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Earth Movers, a trail podcast reclaiming the narrative. I am one of your co-hosts, Stefanie Flippin, and I am joined by my co-host, Verna Volker, and our wonderful guest today, Priscilla Rojas. Hello, you two. How's everyone doing?
Hi, I'm really honored to be here. I'm a little tired because I came from Oaxaca at 4 a.m. this morning.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into that. Before we kick off this conversation, I do want to give a brief shout out to our presenting sponsor for season 2 of Earth Movers, Ultra Running. Ultra has been providing this platform for us to share these conversations. They were our presenting sponsor for season 1. They are back for season 2, and we are really, really grateful for their support. You can check out Ultra at ultrarunning.com. They offer free 30-day returns. They are the original zero drop shoe, and they also have a new 4mm drop option as well. So again, thank you so much, Ultra. We deeply appreciate your commitment to allowing us to platform these conversations. Additionally, we are now on Substack, and you can subscribe and follow along to the different topics that we're covering there at earthmoverspodcast.substack.com. I will kick things over to Verna to formally introduce Priscilla Rojas.
Priscilla, welcome. So I'm going to do your little intro here, a little bit bio about you. So Priscilla is a trail runner, community organizer, and a biotech scientist living in San Diego County. She's the co-founder of Santa Mujeres Run Club, which just turned 5 last October. Oh, I didn't know that. And she has been an ambassador for the LA Marathon and the Endurance Race Series. And she's also on the advisory board of the Broken Arrow Skyrace. So welcome, Priscilla.
Yeah. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Priscilla, you just mentioned that you are currently in Mexico. Is that correct?
I just actually arrived back in the U.S.
Just got back.
in San Diego at 4 a.m. this morning. But last night I flew back from Oaxaca, Mexico. So
Yeah. And what were you doing down there?
So we went on a aire libre experience with my run club, Santa Mujeres. And it was 4 days running and immersing ourselves in the culture and learning. And it was a really, really great experience and special. I think our bonds are like forever now. I mean, Santa Mujeres is family, but we're like familia forever now. It was really special.
Yeah, I know. So we share a mutual friend. My friend Mao is the founder of Air Libre. He's also he's on the global run team with Lululemon, and he's just created such an incredible company, community, all the things with Air Libre. I hear the same feedback from so many people that go on his experiences that he creates. And for our listeners, like Mao, like his Air Libre trips are all over the world too, even though Mao himself is originally from Mexico City. But that's wonderful. And what an incredible experience for you and the other women in your run club to just bond on that trip. Yeah. Did you guys check out a lot of the different trails?
It was more of a city hybrid.
Okay.
So we ran in the city and downtown. And then another day we went out to a trail from one pueblo to another. So it was like a 10K. Wanted to keep our distances accessible to everybody who wanted to join on this trip. And what I love about them is that they have a leader in the front and a leader in the back. So every pace, we kind of do this accordion style thing. And that's really what we do at Santa Mujeres. We want to get everyone to share that experience and run together and not leave anybody behind, which is like one of our biggest things.
I'm curious about the weather.
It was hot.
Was it really hot? Like what?
Really hot. It was like 85 every day. Yeah. And sunny. The sun just hits you different.
That's too much for us here in the north.
Yeah, that's like a near 100-degree swing for you currently.
Yeah, well, like it was
no exaggeration.
Exactly. It turned 40 and we're all like have no jackets on because we're like, yeah, it's like summer. So I'm always curious like where people run and like what the temperature is. So
yeah. Well, Priscilla, we definitely want to dive into your run club and founding Santa Mujeres. But before we do that, I did want to just go a little bit further back in time with you. You have shared, candidly on social media, which I love. You are a woman in STEM. And I wanted to just learn a little bit more about your background in science.
So I've always been a curious person since I was a kid. I've always dreamed of being an astronaut. I want to go out to space. So just being curious, my mom would take me to the library in the summers. I'm originally from Bakersfield, so that's the Central Valley. The summers are triple digit weather. So an escape was either you go to the pool or you go to the library. I did both, but I would love to. I just spent the whole weekend in the library, the days that they were open, of course. And I would just gravitate to like science books, little experiments, even baking, things that
Mm,
are
mhm,
very like step by step. And that's a lot of science, right? You're like innovating, but you also follow step by step, especially in the molecular cell bio and biotech. There's a lot of techniques and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, just been a curious child. When you're in school, they kind of like you're like what's the right way to say it? Like you're like an honors kid. You're smart. Put you in the STEM program because we know you're really good at math and science. So then that's kind of the route my life went. And then graduated in high school, I actually started studying engineering. So started engineering, went and lived in the Bay Area and worked there for a while. And tech wasn't for me. It felt really dry.
mm,
So then after living in the Bay Area, 15 years ago, I moved down to San Diego and kind of reset like, what do I want to do in life? I know do I belong in tech too? Because it's also this is like 20 years ago, male dominated field,
mhm,
especially in school too. I was the only female in my classes. Um, so I just needed to reset. Came down to San Diego. My brother was out here going to UCSD, and I was just kind of resetting. And biotech was huge. And then I was like, "Oh, what is this biotech? It's still science. It's still creative at the same time too." And um, I was a first generation college student, first generation Mexican American. My parents' highest education was probably sixth grade. So everything past sixth grade, it was like me trying to figure it out, me trying to explain to them to understand. And then it's kind of funny now sitting here thinking about it, like kind of paving my own way, trying to figure out how am I going to go to college? How am I going to graduate college? I made it. And I hate it. You get that career. How do you tell your parents who you're there, you have to finish school and do this, that you don't want to do it anymore? So again, I'm paving my own way. I'm like, well, I love science. I still think, the way it makes me feel and the impact I want to have in the world is still important to me. So then I found another branch of science, which is biology, diagnostics.
mhm,
So just learning about all that was thrilling. So it's been a journey to really figure out what I wanted to do in science. So it
mhm,
started with like I have no one to help me and figure it out. To slowly paving your way, finding your way, knowing what you don't want to do, and my parents, didn't support the decision of changing my career. But I could always go home, but they also showed me grit and hard work.
mm,
So I knew that if I wanted to live the life that I want to choose for myself, which again, I am grateful and that's very privileged to say as a child of immigrants, to be like,
mm.
hey, I still want to do something different, like I'm not
Right.
going to follow this path. And um, to this day, my parents just kind of like, oh, what are you up to now? Like trying to like just let Priscilla be Priscilla.
Mm,
Oh.
But I have to give them, acknowledge that they showed me grit, hard work, uh,
Mm,
you know, if make your own path, and that I learned from my parents.
mm,
They were the hardest working people, and because of them, I have the privilege to make decisions. I'm not living to survive; I'm living to live life and
mhm.
experience.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Oh.
thank you so much for sharing, Priscilla.
I know. I
And
was like, "Whoa, where are we
I'm
going?"
like gonna
yeah,
cry.
yeah. No, and I'm certain too that you are serving as just such a critical role model
Right.
yourself at this point, for so many, both in like the world of STEM, running, all of the things. So we deeply appreciate you sharing that
Yeah.
aspect of
Now
yourself.
with the running is now I'm thinking of like, okay, if I can have this impact in the running industry, how do I apply this in STEM? And now I try to take those roles, like
Right.
take in
Hmm.
interns, try to
Yeah.
teach the next generation. Or now at this age, my friends are having kids in high school, like talking to them, hey, you need to do this. This is
Yeah.
a good
Yeah.
idea. Have you heard about this? You don't have to go to a 4 year right away. Take advantage of
Hmm.
like trying to figure it out in California, especially where you have 2 years for free education to get
Hmm.
an
Hmm.
associate's and
Yeah.
then pick your
Yeah.
career. Um,
Hmm.
I think to have that safe space of, it's okay to not know.
Right. Yeah. Mm.
Because I had so much like, oh, I'm disappointing my parents. Oh, I'm disappointing this person or
Mm.
that person. And those like first 10 years of in your 20s when you're trying to figure out who you are. So it was hard to like, go against what people expected. But now sitting here lately, I've been like, sorry, I'm getting emotional, but
Mhm.
because I feel like I'm at another crossroads, but
Mm.
it's all worth it. It's I'm finding who I am.
Mm.
Oh. Oh, we love that. Well, let's just shift gears a little bit to that. Um, just we found out that you were a DJ, right? Is that true in college?
Yeah,
Tell
so
us a little bit about that.
I was a DJ at KCPR at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Again, when you're trying to find yourself, like I was just a curious child. I always loved music. My parents were always like, "Are you in love?" Like I was 10 years old listening to Art LeBeau's late night show with all those oldies and love songs. And I just connected. It just gave me a feeling. And then you were influenced of your traditional Mexican music and then like hip hop music, punk music growing up. When I went to college, I was trying to find my community. And music is kind of, for me, like the international language. You don't have to know the
Right.
words, you just feel the
Hmm.
music. So I gravitated to the people who were music lovers. So then I became a radio DJ there. Um,
Oh.
and I would bring some of my influence with music, like Spanish music. And then I really like hip hop and instrumentals, down tempo, electronic music. So it was a place for me to express myself with music, playing music, selecting music.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm curious because, Bad Bunny just did the halftime. I didn't understand anything, but I knew what it was about. So I'm just curious your thoughts about that because it was really, it was amazing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I totally 100% agreed with his message, right? Like, you don't have to know what I'm saying, but you need to feel the music
Mhm.
and dancing movement related to running that movement. It's going to unify us all because we're just on the same uh, music wave, right? We're all
Right.
feeling the music. And it kind of relates to that. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to know the words or the language, but we can feel the music and come together.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So as a runner and as a leader now, how did you feel like that with your love of music it crosses over with what you're doing today?
My love of music, it does cross over where we like, if we can say one song for Santa Mujeres at the finish line is La Chona. I don't know if you guys heard that from Los Tucanes de Tijuana. It's a regional Mexican music, but it just brings the energy of
Oh.
Mm.
a powerful woman, a woman that's going to do what she's going to do. So that's kind of our things. So music, I mean, it's a little separate, but sharing, when we're on trips and stuff, it's not
Mhm.
the emphasis of Santa Mujeres, but it's kind of nice to share that we all have similar music taste, or also what's special about Santa Mujeres too is that we have like multiple generational groups of women.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
we have younger people who are like, oh, those songs remind me of my parents or this or
Oh.
that.
Hmm.
Out and about. Or we're like as hyped, our ladies in their 50s, as hyped as our 20s olds. So it's just beautiful. It just kind of brings the energy. Like,
Oh, I bet. I love that.
Yeah. That's incredible. Gosh, Priscilla, you're such a like diverse,
I know.
multi-talented human too. Like, I mean, like I feel like I enjoy music. I'm passionate about it, but I could literally never be like a radio DJ though either. Yeah, I love just all the different styles of music that you mentioned too, and how you were able to just bring all of that together in that role. That's just amazing. But yeah, I mean, we've been touching on your incredible run club, Santa Mujeres. So what was the impetus for you to found Santa Mujeres Run Club in San Diego?
So, so Santa Mujeres Running Club was founded by myself and my friend Virginia, and we were both on our own running journeys. We're running, we're doing things, but that was one of the things that um, made our bond stronger because we met in the music scene in San
Oh,
Diego.
awesome.
And then when we like want to go on a hike, we took it out of like we see you at night, music and stuff, to like connecting. And then she's running. I wanted to see what a half marathon was going to feel like, but we were doing this on our own. And then we came together for a Triple Crown series out here in San Diego County. So it's like the Carlsbad Half Marathon at the time, La Jolla Half
Hmm.
Marathon, and then America's Finest City Half Marathon. So I took that challenge on and I was like, can I do this? And then I was like, you have to join me. So then we did that together. And then we would do some training run together. And it was just us two to keep each other safe and just be out there. But that's kind of where we were started thinking, imagine if we had a whole group of girls, or imagine if we had this community. Because it was just me and her at the Finish Line Festival, right? Just like, oh, we're here. And then from there on, come 2020, we sat down, and I was about to finish school, and it was going to allow more time to really spend time with Santa Mujeres. She was in, so then we sat down and really planned it out. And everything we planned was very intentional. We wanted it to be our name in Spanish to represent our Latinidad, for her and I. Santa Mujeres, it translates to holy women, but we believe women are sacred and
I like that.
so it's a combo of all that matching together. And then we wanted to make it inclusive because she is a lot faster runner than I am. And I'm like, back of the pack or just a slower runner, but I love running. So we wanted to have a place where somebody can come at their regular pace, but somebody to be new to running where I could support them as well. And we, be every place. So we have a leader in the front, leader in the back, and then we had a 5K in Balboa Park. We picked Balboa Park because it's central to San Diego. So you can have people from north of the 8 and then Chula Vista, National City come out too. This place, Balboa Park, is in the middle of the city. It's one of the most beautiful places in San Diego. And we picked a carousel just because it's free parking at the time. I don't know what's happening over here with parking. And now, 6 years, 5 years later, and yeah, just a central place. And so we did a 5K for people to get the distance in. We appreciate the distance of running longer, but also a 1 mile, so people could come just walk. So it started just for women, and our focus was that the leaders were going to be women of color, and it was me and Virginia. Then, it started with 5 people, and then in October 2020, and then there was hopes that COVID is going away, we're going to open the world, and then December, January, it all shut down. So then we had to go virtual. We didn't want to give up on our idea. We're like, oh no, we're barely building. We got 10 people at Run Club, from our 2-5, but then everything shut down. So we kept the momentum going online through our Instagram and made sure to stay communicating there. Tag us on your runs, on your solo runs. We'll be back in person. Eventually we did, and then 10 people showed up, and then 20, and then as time went on, 30, 40. We were having 50 people every day
Wow.
with us.
Wow.
And through that time, we also made it an inclusive run club because our members mentioned that, hey, can I bring my dad? Can I bring my kids? Can I bring my husband? And it turned into a family thing. And then, like, yes, it's
I
going to
love
be
that.
for everyone. We still have our value that women of color will be the leaders for these, like the runs, but for everyone. And something that stayed with me too, like other community members, he was like, I'm in San Diego by myself, and you guys remind me of my tias, my sister, my family, and like I just want that feeling.
Hmm.
So it has turned into yeah, a family, more of a social run. We just come and have a good time. We cover our distance. We do the same route. One day you feel like walking a mile. Sometimes you walk a mile. Sometimes you try to PR your 5K. We have a little bit of everything. And even that is empowering to people who have shown up to Run Club and said, I'm not a runner, but I want to check this out. They start with a mile, they walk, run, and they're like, oh, this is kind of short. Let me try
Mhm.
the 5K, 3 miler, and then they'll do that. And then they slowly have these like PRs, like, oh, I ran it faster than last time. And then that has built like a fire in them to know that they started something and have built on it. And that's so empowering to them. And
Right.
has made makes them believe they do more, and they go on to do even bigger and more things in running, with distances or what they thought was capable. We have a runner, Elsbeth. She introduced herself at Run Club. I'm not a runner. This is 2021, maybe, or early, yeah, middle of 2021 or so. And now, just January, she became an ultra marathoner.
Oh,
Oh, oh, I
incredible.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like
great
all these steps,
trajectory.
they always make fun of us, like, what juice are you guys pouring over there? Like these people both are like, not ready to like feel doing these amazing things. And on the trails as well, like
Right. A lot of good stuff. So you just became a nonprofit, right?
yes,
Yeah, tell us more about that.
yeah, so we decided to become a nonprofit. So it'll be 2 years, March 8th, which is Intentional International Women's Day.
Hmm.
I made sure and like some of it that we were very intentional on everything we do. I think that brings energy, focus.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we are a woman based run club, I submitted it on that day, and it's going to be 2 years. And we decided to go that route because Santa Mujeres is for the people. It's for them, and we want to be able to get resources to support the community further. It is all volunteer based, and it does get hard. You're like, it takes a lot of work, and I get
Yeah.
Yes. I
it.
know, I know.
Yeah, you both are leaders of
Yeah,
501(c)(3)s, and congratulations. That's not, to both of you. Honestly, it's no easy feat at attaining that status.
Yeah, and then when
yeah,
you're building your board and you're building your leaders, it was important to have the same love for Santa Mujeres, the same values that you want to, continue what it's doing, that work.
yeah,
So our members were like 100% in. Like they were like, "Oh, I want to help in any way possible way,"
yeah.
So that's been super helpful that they have the same passion and love for the community as you do. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it's mostly to have more resources, to have some money for bibs for people that
Hmm.
need the resources for that. Um, Shoes. We've been connected with Game Changers.
Yep.
Um,
Hmm.
and as I actually got certified with Game Changers. That's how I
Oh, okay.
coach. And Vanessa, I mean, talk about empowering women, right? Like we're even building, like the work starts with 1, 2 people, but it propagates into so many of us
Yes,
helping
for
each
sure.
other. And so that's been awesome. So shoes for our community, exposure to new like trail running. There's other things that you need that you don't think about, like trail shoes that are completely different. Safety, wilderness safety, like
Yeah,
Hmm.
learn everything as we
yeah,
go. Um, but because the work is so important and so rewarding, it kind of rejuvenates you as much as it takes. It kind of gives you back too. Um, but yeah, we taking space in USA Track and Field. Most recently, we were able to pay for the registrations of our athletes to be part of the USA Track and Field for our Women's Open and Masters team.
Mhm.
Take space and represent.
Yes,
Where we are an example, and our families and our children and our cousins and are seeing us, and then there's the little girls that are looking at us like, well, one day I'm going to do this. So just starting, we're not the fastest, but we are out there participating.
yes, I love that. It's, I think too, you probably resonate as well. Like, there's just something just so like being around your own community where you like get each other's jokes or like other people who wouldn't understand. But there's just like common thing that you have together when like every time I'm with my community, it's like it's such a like a comforting feeling of just seeing someone that looks like you like out like on the trails. And I'm sure you feel that way as well.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing, I think we connected at the We Out Here festival. How do you show up here and just be yourself? Just show up. Like no overthinking or no feeling or anxiety because, oh, I'm the only one and you're already feeling awkward. No, you're showing up in a place that you already understand. You know, you don't have to explain yourself. Like you said, you can say a joke here or there and they get it. Like there's no explanation necessary.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Um, Priscilla, you had mentioned being extremely intentional. I absolutely love that you know, intentionally chose to become a nonprofit on International Women's Day, which in 2024 fell on March 8th. Can you share with us any other like examples of intentional decisions that you've made just to create the communities and the impacts that you have been wanting to make? Because I really love that intentional decision that you made.
Yeah, when we were sitting down talking about what we wanted Santa Mujeres to be, from day one, we knew that it was about the next generation of leaders. So we always knew that Virginia and I were going to step away at some point, like,
Got
to
it.
get the other leader. Like, they,
Hmm.
if that was the point to empower women, you have to have like your turf, like, you know, you bring the other person in,
Yeah, yeah.
set them
Yeah.
Hmm.
up, and then the next one. So that was from day one. Like we were going to have other leaders because we knew they were out there. There's people that love running.
Yes.
They just
Hmm.
needed that space and that support. Um, so that was very intentional there. Like
Mm.
that this was going to be passed down to the next leaders.
Hmm.
The nonprofit stuff wasn't as intentional, but it's part of that whole picture too.
Hmm.
Um, for me, also, when I'm out trail running, when I was doing these really scary things alone, even as a leader of Santa Mujeres, it was intentional of me to show up no matter what because I knew somebody who was watching and was curious and they wanted to know
Mhm.
if it was safe for them to be there too. So um, I show up fully myself too at these places and
Mm.
show them that
Mhm.
they too can be at any size, any pace, show
Hmm.
up. And it is hard. Don't get me wrong. Maybe, you know, like it is hard and a little scary, but because as we started our conversation, I've already been navigating this own little road by myself.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Right.
like, I think I have some training in the STEM world where it now relates to the
Hmm.
living world. So
Yeah.
not as
Oh,
scary.
yeah.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. And something like a commonality that I wanted to point out. Priscilla, you and Verna both do such an incredible job of showing up fully as yourselves, but also like doing just it's so inspiring too because you both are leaders, but you also are really intentional about decentering yourselves too, so that you
Mhm.
can elevate like the next generation and you can elevate additional women of color in both of your organizations. And I think it's not only incredibly admirable, but it's a critical piece, right,
Right.
of these types of groups and to continue to cultivate leadership as you go. So I just wanted to point that out because I see that common thread between both of you and it's inspiring to me.
Yes. Well, before we move on, we just want to give another shout out to our sponsor for this podcast. We're so grateful for Ultra Running for just sponsoring this podcast again and just sharing these stories that oftentimes are overlooked in the trail space and the running space. So, if you would like more information, you can go to www.ultrarunning.com. I own a few ultra running shoes and I specifically love their trail shoes, so I'm always like kind of very. I just feel comfortable in them, and just so I'm just grateful to be able to say, "Hey, I wear Ultra." So yeah. So thank you, Ultra, again for sponsoring this podcast. Um, as we move on, Priscilla, I want to ask you about you being on the advisory committee for the Broken Arrow, and just kind of how you got into that.
Yeah, so oh goodness, maybe it was 2023. I attempted the Broken Arrow Skyrace 23K and I had a DNF. There was a lot of reasons. I'm living at sea level. You're trying to do a sky race, 8,000, 7,000 feet
That's
high.
crazy.
But also that day or that year was the most snow they've ever had in Tahoe for that
Mm,
race. So they changed the course. So one, I don't do snow. I've never done a snow sport. I'm slippering out there, even with my poles, like a little baby learning to walk on the snow. So it even took me even longer, and I was really like sad because like, oh, I'm at this big event that I've dreamed of because I saw Myrna. I think you guys know Myrna too.
Yeah.
Out there, and then I saw my friend Maggie out there, and I was like, I want to do this one day, like I want to do it. And then I got my chance, and then I had to do it. So I was like, oh no. So I had all these heavy feelings, but the community at Broken Arrow, like I think people saw me kind of like walking away teary eyed, and they consoled me and they said, come back. You belong here. You'll get it next time. It happens to all of us. This is part of it, like, so to have strangers completely do that to you, and even some elite athletes, to hold you in that space of like, it's okay, like just try again, or like, we'll be here next year, come back. And so that support stayed with me. It stuck with me that I found this at a race that, yeah, I didn't see a lot of Latinas or myself, or people of color, but that particular community, some members, were there for me. So that stayed with me. But yes, of course, I was like, okay, but maybe if I went, I processed my feelings. I'm like, well, what if we have this thing in SMRC, todo se puede con Santa Mujeres. Everything is possible with SMRC. So I was like, I think if we come in community, and, if I have my crew here, I'm going to feel even more empowered and, have that energy that we are all out there together, right? Like that's what we believe in a lot of our races together. That's our thing. Like we're there for the first ones and the very last one. So, and then that's the model for Broken Arrow. Now that I said that out loud, I'm like, yeah, you're a rock star if you're the first or the last runner. So I just fit all these values I held. So I reached out to the race director and an email with my feelings, and just telling him, hey, I have this idea. If there's a chance, I would love to bring Santa Mujeres up here and share this experience. I think that it would be great. And then by coincidence, I think they were already trying to build an advisory council. So I think it was just like meant to be. And also I shot my shot. Is that how you say it? Because I was scared. I'm like, how am I going to ask this like race director for something, or like this idea? But it all happened like it was meant to be. And he said, hey, well, we're building this. Are you interested? So as a person and running for 4 years, I was like, oh my God, do I know stuff? Am I knowledgeable? I'm just starting trail running. This is like my second year trail running. But I still did it scared because I knew that my idea that I thought about community building could be implemented there. And I shared my idea, and we built the BIPOC Run Club initiative, where we invited run clubs from the community. We started with about 6 or 8, and I said you can't just invite one; you have to bring their community. So it was
Right.
like 4 bibs that they offered the run clubs. I tried to connect to community members. I knew we're doing a lot of run clubs for people of color, so that I kind of knew. So we invited them. And then it's better to come with your community. You're going to, even if you're the only one, you're at least only fulfilled. You have another group, and then you kind of vibe, and then you see each other across like the village of the race. And so we started with about 5, 6, and it was a success. Like, people ran their first trail race with this initiative. A hard trail race,
Yes, that's a hard one.
And then that year, I went back for the 23K and I finished it, the original route. So it was even harder.
Oh,
And I
congratulations.
finished it.
Congrats.
And it just stayed with me. I'm like, oh man, you could do anything with community and friends and like support. So last year, we invited about 18 run clubs. So like 100 athletes that we were able to support.
That's so cool.
Out there with their communities. And to me, it was like this little idea, became this big thing that I knew could work. And I just like was super passionate. And I'm sure Brendan and Ethan were like, this girl really wants to be, because I wanted it to succeed. I knew it would succeed, like talking about intention. I know this is going to work. Like this is the missing piece to bring community together. And then people there at the race also just being part of everything and us getting along. And the second year, there was leaders that were invited that first year who brought their community, other new members, but they still showed up to support them. So then you see the familiar faces, what you want at a race event, right? Like you want to remember your friend like that you connected with, and you're back, and there's hugs, and it's a welcome back to like family. So to have part in that type of work, yeah, that makes me really happy.
One of the things that resonates is like when you said you bring your community. Like we could do it by ourselves, like, and you took that boldness of like just asking these. I mean, they could have said no, and but that says so much about your character. But also, like, there's something about having your community with you. And I just love how you said that, like, you could just do it by yourself, but there's something about having your community there with you. And that's just kind of like, oh, I love that because you're
Mhm.
there, whether, when it's hard or like when you finish or like you don't finish, that you just have that community.
Mhm.
And I think part of our cultures, a lot of times, community is already ingrained in us,
Yeah.
and so I
Mhm.
think that's what I really see in you. So, and also you are also an ambassador for the LA Marathon, right?
Mhm.
And also the endurance race series.
Yes.
Those are two things. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, for the endurance race series, I'm an ambassador. It's a local trail series here in San Diego County. And why that was an important connection was because the different distances. People think that when you're trail running, you have to do an ultra, you have to do a 50K,
Mhm.
or you're running 100 milers.
Mhm.
But
Yes,
there's
yes.
5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and this particular series has all that 5, 10K to a half. They do have an ultra for a certain one, but it it's the perfect place to introduce you to trail running, but also build on trail running. It's local, so it's accessible to my community, Santa Mujeres. You don't have to travel because traveling is expensive. That's another
Right.
thing. Going back to Broken Arrow Advisory Council, through that inclusivity initiative, we were able to get a small stipend for the run clubs to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really important and so special. And that's the things that you can build, right, with multiple people in this council who's connected to what them as race directors saying, hey, we can do more. And they did more, like, and it takes time and communication, but the goal together of the advisory council was the same. Like that was so special to want to do better and be better. Um, yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I love
endurance
that.
race series. Sorry, it
Yeah.
was like me bringing it back to a scale more accessible to my community, and that's why it was important to be on. I said yes right away because I'm like, yes, I want to also show that you can do trail running locally. It doesn't have to be long distance. It could be along the beach, the coast, or it can be in our local mountains. It doesn't have to
Mm.
have a lot of climbing. Like trail
Mhm.
running is not, it's more than what people think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was
It's
important to me.
Yeah, I love that. No, I was just going to say it's so important for someone like yourself, like everything you just described about trail running, just to put it out to your community that like it can be accessible. It doesn't have to take, right? Like, exorbitant amounts of training hours, like living in the mountains
Right.
in order to be able to be able to get the vertical gain, all those things. And it doesn't have to be 100-mile race. So
Mhm.
very true that is often like a misconception about the sport, and like going out for like a 5K on the trails is still like so much fun, and still trail, very much trail running. So really important piece there, Priscilla.
And
um
for
yeah.
I was going to continue for LA
Yeah,
Marathon. We also do marathons as a team, and LA Marathon is special to me because it was my first marathon.
Okay.
And it's my favorite city. Don't tell San Diego, but no kidding. I'm from Bakersfield, Central Valley, so that was a big city next to me. So that's where,
of
I just
course.
made memories and stuff, but I love LA as well. So it's just a special marathon to me. Yeah.
When is the LA Marathon?
March 8th, so International
Coming up.
Women's Day
Oh,
this
Yeah.
year.
it's coming up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep.
Yeah.
Will you be running it this year, or do you have friends running it?
Yes, I'll be running it, and we have
Awesome.
about like 10 SMRC ladies. We didn't build a team
Cool.
because we just finished every women's marathon in November,
Yeah.
and we're like, we want to be responsible about training too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not have people do marathon after marathon. Even
Yeah.
though we
Right.
do have some ladies that do that,
Hmm.
and we're all about if you're being safe and having fun, that's what matters.
Mm.
But yes, we'll be out there.
Oh, exciting! We look forward to rooting for you ladies. We'll be sure to share on our social medias
Mhm.
as well. Well, sort of pivoting a little bit in terms of our topic. Me, Verna, and Allison have all been discussing, particularly on our first episode this season, just about the impacts of ice. Verna is located in in Minnesota, and we haven't shied away from discussing it just because it really is at the forefront of many people's lives right now. And if you don't mind, you had recently, Priscilla, shared on social media the fact that, and you shared today earlier in this conversation, that you are the proud daughter of immigrants. But on your social media, you also just shared a bit about the generational trauma and just these feelings, almost like a PTSD type situation that you have, that, that everything that's going on has brought up for you. And it broke my heart to read just the horrifying reality that you had as a child, right? Of having a plan in place in case something happened, to either of your parents.
Yeah.
How are you dealing with all of this right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, like you mentioned, it did bring a lot of feelings, what was happening, especially with children and going into schools, because I feel like that's even worse than what I went through.
Sure.
Um, I had a plan with my mom what to say if she wasn't at the bus stop, you are American, I'm Mexican, but you're American, because I would
Yeah.
just say, oh, I'm Mexican, I'm like my parents, right? Like, but she was like, no, you can't say that, because things could happen. Um, so we had a plan. So hearing all these stories and having children live through this traumatic events again, it was hard. And maybe I couldn't speak on it, and I probably still don't share with everyone that trauma, right?
Hmm.
I did my silent post. Like I was like, I'm going to express it. Here it is. This I'm proud daughter of immigrants. This is how I feel.
Mhm.
And then with this whole ICE thing, like this is not something that you can just fix a little bit. You need to destroy it, burn it, abolish ICE. Like we need to
Mhm.
Yeah.
start
Right.
all over,
Hmm.
um, because there's no repairing it.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
those are my feelings.
Hmm.
But the trauma of kids, yeah, it's like it's hard because I took me back to that one day I didn't see my mom at the bus stop, and I hid in the bus, and they found me in the back of the bus when they were already done with all the bus stops because I didn't see my mom. Um, so it's hard because I can't
Mhm.
imagine what these kids are going through, and it's
Right.
so disappointing how we're letting down our future generations here in the U.S. Because it's so amazing to be so diverse. I mean, I know we all get to pick our communities and stuff, and it's amazing. Kind you see how great we are. Come join us, especially being. I think Mexican people are so welcoming. Like I don't know. I grew up where you give like, oh, somebody needs
Mhm.
a cup of water, give them water. Like, and those values are very true in Santa Mujeres too with our community. Like, we help runners we don't even know at these races. We're giving them fuel at the aid stations. Like here, we're helping everyone. But yeah, it's just it makes me sad, but then there's anger and I still haven't processed it, so I go on a run,
Hmm.
like then I loosen, like get some thoughts out. So it's still hard to speak on it, but because it brings all these feelings about that. But
Mhm.
now as an adult I can just do better and try to help where I can to make people feel safe. Most recently I've had a acquaintance here running I moved to Oceanside, so that's where I'm at now. And they were affected by ICE here in our community, and there's things that I also still, even as a child immigrant, I still kind of feel safe because I think I'm American, but they're profiling everyone.
Hmm.
It's not
Mhm.
Yeah.
anymore about where you're from. It's just how you look, and it's so sad. And I get questions. Well, at Run Club, well, how are you gonna keep us safe? But at least in Oceanside,
Mhm.
I did a pop up, and like, well, okay,
Hmm.
we'll stay together. I
Mhm.
understand because I want to support you, but right now I'm going through something that I don't want to be out
Yeah.
running. And yeah, it's
Yeah, I was just going to ask you how you feel like you're navigating as a leader during this time.
yeah, I tell them to communicate with me. I will be there with them if they want to do a run together. And that's funny because this is not even I'm a woman, right, running alone. This is like anyone. Like, this is
Hmm.
a male friend who said I don't feel safe. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want. How many people can I be with you guys the whole time? Kind of thing. Or explaining why they can't do this particular run. So I just listen to them and I respect their feelings and how they feel safe. And if they don't even feel safe with our community, that's okay. Like, it's a choice. But if they want
Right.
a safe space, we're here for them. Um, and we don't need them to explain it to anyone, right? That was a very personal conversation. I know,
Right.
and I'll make sure that, I'm conscious of what's going on, where we're running.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that whole where we're running. A few years ago, I did a series of trail runs along the Pacific Crest Trail, and it was really exciting. We're doing the first 100 miles, we're breaking into pieces. Some people didn't even know what the Pacific Crest Trail was, but then that sense of adventure happened, right? And I'm like, and it turned out to be a great experience. We could talk about that because that is a whole amazing thing that happened. But I was talking about bringing it back, and then members like, no, we're not going, past this particular area because the borderland is militarized. We don't want to be down there. It's not safe. And I wasn't even thinking that because, it's not, yeah, it just like somebody had to remind me, like, wait, the trails are also being affected by this,
Yeah.
by ICE,
Right.
by border patrol. We can't go that way, because the Pacific Crest Trail starts at the border of Mexico and goes all the way to Canada. And we're fortunate to have the first 100 miles here in San Diego County
Mhm.
area. But yeah, they also remind me of things that I don't think. And it's
Mhm.
important to be like, oh man, and I love that they trust me to say that to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also kind of like us as leaders too, just kind of also being able just to empower us too, like together. We're powerful in numbers, and not to fear, but always being cautious of like what's around. So, yeah, yeah, it's real, and yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you, Priscilla. I know it's such a delicate and like just a traumatic subject to have to chat about. So we appreciate you sharing. Um, well, we're heading into the final stretches here of this conversation. Priscilla, you were recently awarded the San Diego USATF Trail Runner of the Year. Huge congratulations on that. We're so proud of you. Um, and you had shared a quote that you said on social media. You said, "I know I'm not breaking any records, but I'm definitely leaving an impact in a sport that at times feels intimidating. I like to think I'm showing folks that they can do it too." That's just so special. It hit me right in the heart. Can you speak a little bit more on receiving this award and well-deserved recognition, and just what it meant to you and your community?
It was definitely an honor. When I heard the news, I was processing like, wait, how? What's
Yeah.
going on? And the committee, a member of the MUT chair, the Mountain Ultra
Hmm.
Trail Running, he explained what this award meant, and then I was more accepting of it because I was like, "What? I don't run fast. I'm not breaking records. Like, this is for people, podiums and all this stuff." He's like, "No, this is more than that." And to have an organization already pay attention to that was really cool and special. And then to be a recipient of that, I was like, oh man, like it kind of it's so funny. Like everyone, we all have our moments of doubt, right? Like, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how many times I'm here, do I belong here? It's just,
Hmm.
and then
Yeah.
it was
Right
just,
here.
it just reinforced, like, stop, like, you are making an impact. You are doing this. You're showing up. And people are being inspired and motivated doing their own things too. When he explained the award, what it meant to as a community leader, and my impact is bigger than the running podium stuff and the speed.
Oh yeah.
So then it was okay, I can accept this. And it was a big honor to have that. And also at that award ceremony, there was people I didn't even know who knew about the work I'm doing, who told me like,
Oh,
hey, this and that, or hey, I know what you're doing. This is so special. You deserve that award. And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I know that it's leaving an impact. I mean, I'm impacting people, and now like I'm owning it, and that's special.
mhm.
Just
Yeah.
building my confidence to like scratch all that imposter syndrome and like, I'll get over it. Like, just get over your head. Like, this is real. This is happening. You are doing this work. And I'm sure a lot of us go through that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you for sharing, and again, congratulations
Oh, I
on
love it.
on receiving that award and just the very well deserved recognition there, Priscilla. Um, our final question of this conversation, we love to ask all of our guests, and there are no right or wrong answers either. But what does being an earth mover mean to you?
Yeah. Thinking about it, it's going to be as simple as somebody who leaves an impact, right? You leave your footprint on the earth, on the ground. You're changing it. And it's really cool that we could kind of go back to the beginning of this conversation, because I was connecting the dots as we're having this conversation. It's about trailblazing that path, right? So I think Earth Movers is having that footprint and that road, and people can follow and also change, but you're having that impact and moving what's next on Earth for the future generation to follow and grow too, I think.
On that note, wow. Thank you, Priscilla, so much for just sharing like your story, your just everything that you're involved in, and just I just really resonate a lot with you and just your impact and stuff. So yes, thank you again for joining us on our podcast. We have episodes dropped every Thursday. Like, share, subscribe, right? Yes. We have merch available, our Substack, all those things we have available for you all. So, but yes, thank you, Priscilla, for this time. You're amazing. We love you. So just know that you're always welcome here. So with that, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Priscilla.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. It was an honor in giving me the space to share more and be vulnerable and in a safe space with you, ladies.
Yeah.